Okay, so day one of 2014 Little Porridge Dig with NDAS members, and we've cleaned off a large area now with the digger, taken all the topsoil off so that we can see basically what features are in the subsoil, cut into the subsoil. We've got a number of features. Firstly, over here is T5, the trench that we dug last year. You can see that quite clearly marked out. We've got a large spread here of kiln debris, which is stems, some bowls, some burnt material, bits of brick. We've got a large either spread or pit of pipe clay up at the top where Bob is, and then we've got a couple of linears here with bricks in. Now these could be field drains because they're running the right way, just backfilled with pipe debris, or they could be sections of wall. We're not sure yet. We've also got an area here where there's a lot of brick, which looks quite promising, and basically come back in a week's time and we'll tell you what everything is, hopefully. So week 2 of the Little Porridge Dig, and we are now putting a section through this long linear here, which we'll go and have a look at in a minute. We found basically lots of pipe kiln debris, stems, bowls, lots of ash, as you'd expect, bits of brick, and quite a lot of pipe clay mixed in with it all, so it's all being dumped basically. We've had a number of good finds this week, including a pardoned bowl with some decorated stem for the first time, showing that we've got stem and bowl together. We've also had some new forms of decoration on one of the bowls. We've had some interesting bits of kiln furniture that are as yet unidentified. And importantly, we've had a wig curler with IP on the end, proving that Pardon was making wig curlers as well. So here we've got the spread of pipe clay, which we were hoping was a pit, but in fact it's just a spread. You can see here, put a section through, it's sitting on the natural layer, so it's only about that thick. Okay, how this relates to this, we're not quite sure. It appears to be just coming up to the edge of it, and we think this is the beginning really here of one long linear feature. In other words, a long ditch going down here that has been cut specifically to dump the pipe clay waste in, the pipe kiln waste in. Okay, so here we've got a circular spread of brick from probably kiln brick. A lot of it is burnt, and we've got kiln material, possibly furnace lining in with this as well. Put a section through here, but as you can see it's just a spread. We were hoping it was structural, unfortunately it isn't. So why we've got just a circular spread of brick, who knows, it's just a dump. In the ditch here we've got a more interesting sort of configuration going on. We've got the sort of grey spread here, but over the top of it we had redeposited natural subsoil, very compact so it had been walked on. And we've also got almost what looked like a wall here, but it clearly isn't, because it's got pipe clay mixed in with it. It's got bits of stem, brick, and what have you. Now, whether it's the side of the dumping and it just happens to have a lot of clay in and it's compacted, or whether it was actually deliberately compacted, so for instance they were barrowing something down here and just tipping in, we will find out when we take these various layers out. Okay, so here we've got a section through this ditch, this linear, and you can see very, very compact fill of stem, bowl, brick, furnace lining, possibly bits of sheet that we used inside the kiln, but very, very solid. It's just one clear deposit of pipe kiln debris in there, and the same in this one here. And then where these ladies are digging, we've got more of the same, but we've got some infill silting on this side as well. We're assuming really that this ditch runs all the way down there to the goyle, as Phil would call it, which is like a sort of, almost looks like a small quarry area, but it drops down, and we're just assuming they use this so that all the stuff could be tipped down there, which seems to imply that the kiln might be up there somewhere. Okay, so these are some of the finds we've found. Now these are all important because they're coming from the ditch, so they're one solid context. We know it's all pipe waste from the kiln, Pardon's kiln. This one is important because this is only the second form of this we've found. The first one came from topsoil, so there's always the danger that people then think that it just could be intrusive, it could be a stray find, but that now is the proof that that is coming from the same place. This one is important because we've got the Pardon Randall on the side of the bowl, and for the first time we've got decoration associated with it. So although we've had a few decorated pieces of stem, this is the first time the two are linked together. We've had some quite mysterious pieces as well, which are obviously kiln furniture, possibly some kind of rack. They're particularly well made compared to a lot of kiln furniture, which tends to be rough old stuff. But it's very difficult to find out, to sort of work out how these actually fit together, because this one is curved, this one has a flat bottom edge there with a corner, so more research needs to be done on those, but we're assuming it's something like a rack that goes inside the kiln to rest the pipes on. So this year we've had some particularly interesting finds, including some new forms. This is a bowl which we have the actual form of this bowl already, but we haven't had this patterning before. And you can see it's got sort of cross hatching using the tool that is made to roulette the top of the earlier pipes in the 18th century. So that's interesting. There's also, interestingly, one of these at Crediton, from the Crediton excavations, where there's also a Parn pipe. So that, as I say, was unidentified at Crediton. A particularly nice one is this one here. This is the Parn Randall, I-P-A-R-N. But on this, if you look very carefully, we've got the decoration there. So this is the first time we've got the decorated stem with the Parn bowl, proving that Pardon was actually decorating the stems. Up until then, we just had fragments. Okay, so that's been an other finds we've got. For the first time, we've got the base of the muffle. The muffle is the big pot which goes inside the kiln with the pipes in, and this is very typical of the base. This is where the stems would have gone. All the stems are arranged close together, very diagnostic of the base of the muffle. More nice pieces of the wall with looting on the inside here. So you can see from this one it's curved, so we can roughly estimate the diameter of the muffle coming out around this sort of size. And we've got several pieces of this. It's always reinforced with bits of clay pipe like this. This is that one there, you can see the bits pointing out. So we've got lots of finds, lots of bits of kiln furniture, and hopefully it will help to tell the story. Okay, so end of season 2 at Little Potheridge. Last day, just basically washing off fines trays. We've had, goodness knows how many. 2 days ago we had about 26 and we're down to the last 3 or 4. So we've finished excavation, we've done the percentage of the kiln, of the linear that we wanted to do, that's all done. The planning has been done, all the photos taken, so we're just winding up really, and then it's unpacking everything and taking it back. So in terms of the kiln, no, we didn't find the kiln, but I think we've got a better idea of where it may be, because all this stuff has been shoveled downhill, and we can assume that it's up there to the north. But we have had a really good season in terms of finds. We've had 2 or 3 things that are, if not unique, very unusual, and I haven't seen some of them in any other publication, so it's really going to put Little Potheridge on the map actually in terms of clay piping, and I think that's about it.
Bless you.
Trench 2 behind me, which is a long trench going across what we think could be a possible kiln feature. We've got taken off the topsoil, which is 200, context number 200, which is a brown soil with lots of bits of pipe in it. We're actually coming down now to an orangey layer, which is the next layer down, and we're going to stop and have a look at that. We found what might be a couple of post holes, bearing in mind there was an orchard here, so they could be remains of tree stumps that have rotted away. Over in the corner, there, between the two buildings, we've taken the level down. There was a bit of an archway in the stone. We did wonder if maybe that could have been a stoke hole for a kiln there, or it could be a drain or a toilet. We've got lots of pipe stems, hundreds and hundreds of pipe stems. We've got some other bits of kiln material, which is thick white clay with bits of pipe stems sticking in it for strength clay. We've got slag, which is good indication. Yesterday we had a nice ball of white clay from the corner by the buildings there. We've had a few flint scrapers and some flint chips as well. Right, we've got another smaller trench here, aligned east to west, above the first original trench that we did. We've got natural soil down here, which is a very light sandy yellowy orangey colour. And this side we're going to go down to the same level, but we're looking for a layer of pipe debris in a darker soil. So when we find that, we're going to stop and have a look and record it, because Phil told us that it was here some time ago.
Earlier, I found a piece of a muffle with some broken pipe pieces sticking up out of it that were obviously embedded into it, and it was a piece which they put the pipes into to hold them in position when they put them into the kiln.
But they've been reused, they're not all fine, so there's a problem there. It's been blocked in. All we've found so far. We opened this trench initially because this was possibly one of the most promising sites, although there are one or two worrying things about it. The bricks in the arch there look too late. They also look like they've been reused. They're not 18th century to most people's eyes. We've had a building an archaeological buildings expert come out and have a look at them. The other problem is as well that this, if that was the kiln inside this building here, this lean-to, it's very, very small. And there are no signs of burning. So when we excavated it, what we found was that this, that we thought might be the flue, actually angles down, so it's far more likely to actually be a toilet. And that the waste came out here, and we've got a slight gully coming down here, as you can see. We had 4 post holes here, which must have been to do with the building of this wall. So that was one of our targets. That was a little bit disappointing, but it had to be excavated. We've also dug it inside. We found various layers from modern concrete to what's the word I'm looking for?
Cobbles?
No, before that. Lime mortar, a lime mortar surface. Lime mortar surface, and then underneath that cobbles, and then underneath that we half sectioned the cobbles, and we've got a wall, again a wall in there. So I think the conclusion is fairly firm that actually we've got a toilet in there. We've also got some beam slots which would suggest that. So this is the slot that might have been the flue. It's a bit strange having it up against a wall for one thing as well, but if this was a flue, then you probably wouldn't want to stoke uphill, and you can see as I walk down the slope that goes down like that. Here's the wall that we exposed once we took the cobbles off, and you can see the lintel here, the doorway here. So there's several things that really suggest this isn't quite right for a kiln.
No, it's probably that one behind us.
Oh, it's Phil. Distracting us from the job in hand. Well, there you go. Enjoy. I'm going to give him a mattock.
So Chris, we're here at Little Potheridge site. What actually are we doing here?
Well, originally we came here to try and find a kiln, because an 18th century kiln, which is what we would expect here, given the archaeological evidence, given the cartographic evidence, given the documentary evidence, would be a real find. There haven't been any clay pipe kilns found in the southwest at all, and the 18th century kilns are very rare. There's only 2 in the whole of the UK, I think. So, basically, we started over here with this trench, going along there. Having done geophysics, we were looking for 2 anomalies that were about the right size. Unfortunately, the trench was void, we didn't find anything. It shows how disappointing geophysics can be. We put a trench across there, trying to find the kiln waste that Philip Collins had found earlier, but again, we missed that. So then we opened this trench up a little bit, we extended it along here to try and find the line of a building we expected coming out here. What we actually found was a building that isn't exactly on the same alignment, but a very wide wall, which we suspect is medieval. Firstly by the size of it, the width, and secondly by the fact that we have a cut here, foundation trench for the wall, and in the base of this trench we found medieval pottery. We've also got an alignment here of stones, which we think is probably a hedge boundary, an ancient boundary, possibly a strip field going back again to medieval times. We've got various annoying things like this pile of farmer's dump here, which is all sorts of bits of rusting machinery and everything like that. We've got a few spreads here of material. So there's one here that Keith is doing, and there's quite a long spread down the side there. Now over on that side we found a large piece of kiln muffle. Muffle is the pot that goes inside the kiln, and we had a good piece of it with some buttresses on, which is quite diagnostic, and as far as I can tell I haven't seen one exactly like that before. We've also today had a nice piece of bun, which again is a piece that goes inside the muffle to support the clay pipes. So over here we've got another trench we put in, just a slot really to see if we get any floor surface, because we've got a continuation of the wall coming out here, and on the maps it suggests that there was a building here that's been truncated. That's why all this area here is new build. If you look at these bricks here, these are all industrial bricks that have been reused. This is a fairly typical sort of 19th century Victorian sort of feature. We've got a concrete lintel here, so obviously that's fairly modern. So we put a slot in here, but unfortunately we just came straight down onto natural, a lot of rubbish, and we took a slot here just to check it was natural, and we're right onto the natural clay there. So nothing there, which is a bit surprising. You'd expect a floor in here, really, but maybe it's been robbed out.
So where to now?
Where to now? Back to the drawing board, re-evaluate everything, look at the concentration of finds that we've got, where we found the kiln furniture, the muffle, the bun, concentrations of pipes, and then maybe look more in that direction next year. Maybe possibly do a magnetometry survey as well, which might help us, since the geophysics has been an abysmal failure.